Hidden gems, hidden gems, why were you buried?
1997, a year where Titanic ruled the box office. Men in Black made aliens cool, and everybody on Earth was either quoting Austin Powers or singing Bop. While the biggest movies of the year took over theaters, there were a bunch of weird, forgotten, overlooked movies quietly building cult followings of their own. Some were too strange for mainstream audiences. Some got destroyed by critics, and some honestly never stood a chance. But years later, people started realizing these movies had something special. Welcome to Hidden Gems of a Year. And today, we're diving deep into 1997, featuring three movies that could not possibly be more different from each other. The, the chaotic pop culture fever dream that is Spice World, the dark comic book nightmare known as Spawn, and the late night cable TV legend, Poison Ivy, the new seduction. Okay, let's get this out of the way immediately. Yes, Spice World is ridiculous. But that's also exactly why it works. By 1997, the Spice Girls weren't just popular, they were everywhere. You couldn't escape them. CD stores, MTV, t shirts, lunchboxes, magazine covers, Pepsi commercials. For about 2 years, the Spice Girls basically became the center of pop culture. And then somebody in Hollywood asked the obvious question: what if we made A Hard Day's Night, but with maximum 90s insanity? And somehow, that's exactly what happened. Spice World barely even has a plot. The Spice Girls need to make it to a giant concert while absolute chaos happens around them. That's it. That's the movie. But the magic is in how insane everything becomes. This movie feels like a time capsule from another dimension. Everything is loud, everything is colorful, everything is aggressively late 90s. The fashion, the editing, the random celebrity cameos, the British humor. It feels less like a movie and more like flipping through MTV in 1997 after drinking 3 cans of Surge. But critics absolutely destroyed this movie when it came out. But honestly, most critics completely missed the point. This wasn't supposed to be serious cinema. It was supposed to be pure pop chaos, and it was. And now, people look back at Spice World with genuine affection. Because unlike a lot of corporate music movies, this one actually had personality. It was weird, self-aware, goofy, and completely committed to the bit. The Spice Bus alone deserves legendary status, and the random dream sequences, absolute madness, dude. Plus Elton John, Meatloaf, George Wendt, Bob Hoskins. Movie has one of the strongest celebrity cameo lineups ever assembled. But while Spice World represented the bright neon side of 1997, our next movie went completely the opposite direction. Before the MCU, before The Dark Knight, before superhero movies completely took over Hollywood, comic book movies were a gamble. And in 1997, one of the strangest superhero movies ever made hit theaters: Spawn. To understand why Spawn mattered, you have to understand the comic boom of the 90s. Todd McFarlane had already become a superstar in comics thanks to Spider Man. Then he helped launch Image Comics, and Spawn quickly became one of the biggest antiheroes of the entire decade. Spawn wasn't Superman. Spawn wasn't Batman. He wasn't trying to save kittens from trees. This dude was a murdered assassin who came back from hell wrapped in chains, living armor, and demonic powers. Peak 90s. And seriously, the movie looks like the 90s in the best possible way. Green fire effects, industrial music, dark alleyways, gothic imagery, massive chains flying everywhere. This thing feels like somebody turned a hot topic into a movie. One thing that deserves way more respect is Michael J. White, because he became one of the first black actors to portray a major comic book superhero in a theatrical film, and he absolutely committed to the role. But let's be honest, John Leguizamo completely steals every scene as Violator. His performance is unhinged, disgusting, funny, terrifying, and somehow cartoonish all at the same time. Now, yes, the CGI has aged roughly, especially Malbolgia. Good lord. Late 90s CGI hell effects were not ready for what this movie wanted to do. But here's the thing, even with all the flaws, Spawn had ambition. It wasn't trying to play it safe. It wasn't trying to copy Marvel formulas that didn't even exist yet. It was dark, violent, stylized, and completely unique. And the soundtrack, legendary. Metal bands collaborating with electronic artists, The Prodigy, Marilyn Manson, Korn, Crystal Method. This soundtrack sounds exactly like a Spencer's Gift smelled in 1997. Over time, Spawn developed a huge cult following because people realized something important. Movies don't always need to be perfect to be memorable. Sometimes being weird is enough. But while Spawn became a cult comic book favorite, our final hidden gem became famous for an entirely different reason. Now, this is peak late night cable television history. The Poison Ivy series. The original Poison Ivy with Drew Barrymore already had a cult following. It mixed erotic thriller energy with 90s melodrama. Then, of course, came some sequels. And eventually, 1997 gave us Poison Ivy, The New Seduction. Back in the 90s, the direct-to-video market was massive. Video stores were packed with movies like this. Thrillers, horror movies, action movies, stuff you'd randomly discover walking through Blockbuster at 10 p.m. And this movie absolutely understands what it is. It's stylish, overdramatic, cheesy, suspenseful, and unbelievably 90s. The lighting alone screams 1997. Soft neon lighting, dream sequences, soap opera mansion interiors. Everybody looks like they're trapped inside a perfume commercial. This movie became one of those films people accidentally discovered on cable TV at midnight. And somehow, those are the movies people remember forever. The 90s were so full of erotic thrillers, Basic Instinct, Wild Things, Body of Evidence, but Poison Ivy and New Seduction feels like the hidden corner of the entire genre. You got Jamie Presley in there just being sexy for an entire freaking movie. But there's something nostalgic about movies that weren't giant theatrical events, movies you discovered by accident, movies maybe like your older cousin told you about, movies hidden on dusty VHS shelves. No, this isn't some Oscar masterpiece, but hidden gems aren't always masterpieces. Sometimes hidden gems are movies that perfectly capture a moment in time. And this movie absolutely captures late 90s thriller culture. And in reality, that's what makes 1997 such a fascinating movie year. You had massive blockbusters dominating theaters, while completely different kinds of movies quietly built cult followings in the background. Spice World captured the colorful insanity of 90s pop culture. Spawn captured the dark comic book attitude of the decade. And Poison Ivy, The New Seduction captured the weird magic of late night cable and video store discoveries. 3 completely different movies, 3 completely different audiences. Watched them all. But all 3 became unforgettable in their own strange way. Because sometimes the best movies aren't the ones that win awards. Sometimes the best movies are the ones people rediscover years later and say, wait, this was actually kind of awesome. All right, I'll see you guys next time on Hidden Gems of a Year.